Good morning, fellas. How you doing out there in New York State Prison? This is Danny Cañona, and this is another episode of Prison Dirt. As you can see, I'm laying down. I'm a little tired. But you know what? Never too tired to give my perspective, on what goes on behind the wall. You know, today I'm going to speak about the behavior of officers when we're in the mess hall. You know, the mess hall is a real hostile place, and very dangerous too because, you know, in other words, movement. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of movement, and you always have officers plotting, on guys that they don't like. Maybe the guy walks the wrong way. Maybe made a comment, whatever it is that they did or have done before they got to the mess hall. Because sometimes when you're in the block, something happens with an inmate or convict has an argument, a dispute, or even a disagreement with an officer. That officer doesn't goes to the mess hall, because when we go to the mess hall, he escorts everybody, and he'll start telling every other officer about that particular individual he had that conflict with. It. Now, my thing is this: that's not his fucking job to do that. If you have a fucking conflict, you asshole, with a fucking convict, your fucking job is to write him up. It's not for you to be going around telling your officers so that way they can try to plot to set him up. See, that's the shit they do. But anyway, that's what happens in the mess hall. Well, let me explain to you something about the mess hall. When you go to the mess hall, you line up. You line up on the other side of the counter. On the other side of the counter, you got 3 inmates or convicts. I don't like using the word inmates because to me, an inmate's a rat. You know what I mean? When we use convict, Anyway, so they serve you, but you have a CO and you have a civilian. They're watching that we don't get extra. The funny thing about that is that they're so busy worrying about giving us extra. Meanwhile, the CO, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, superintendent, depths, they all steal. All of them steal. Whatever's going on from everything that comes through that mess hall, right, is stolen, or a portion of it stolen by staff in prison. And that is a fact. You could, whoever sees this, you can quote me on that. You kidding me? It's a fact, man. That's what they do all fucking day. That's not the only thing they say. They steal everything. But since we're talking about the mess hall today, let's stay on topic. Anyway, but you know what I don't get about the mess hall? So when you're there and you get your food and you sit down, you got a sergeant that's supervising everything, and then you got all the CEOs, quote unquote, securing us. Meanwhile, that's not what they're doing. All they're doing is talking to each other, right? They're not watching anything and talking about different inmates or convicts. Saying what they did, how they did it, how they walk, how they talk. I hate this guy. That's all they do. Gossip about like bitches. Because a CO in prison is a bitch. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's what he does. He talks about everybody else. He doesn't. But you don't worry about he doesn't worry about what's going on in his life. He worries about what's going on in everybody. They work. They live, bro, to come into prison and fuck with us. Because you got nothing better in the street. You know what I'm saying? So you come in there because in there you could be whoever you want to be. You know how they say that in prison you could be whatever you want to be? That applies to the CO too. You see what I'm saying? The CO is a fucking coward. So he comes to prison and says, he has a backing and he knows that, worst case scenario, if the CO gets assaulted, he goes out on comp, he gets paid, he gets to beat up the convict, with his fellow, co-workers. He gets to do all that's an adventure for them. You know what I'm saying? And believe me when I tell you, they live to be fucking with us. They live to trap us off. They live for all that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever's going on in their daily life, good or bad, they bring that into the facility. You know what I'm saying? And it's bad enough that we as convicts are going through mass stuff as it is already. So, that combination is toxic. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, one thing I'm going to tell you is this. Nothing is different in every prison. Okay? If you did a survey on how the CEOs behave or they treat convicts, believe me when I tell you that everybody would agree with me, you know what I'm saying, or agree that those are the things that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, I've always said this. If 100 people say the same thing, somebody's telling the fucking truth. You understand what I'm saying? Now, my thing is this. For all you guys out there that are going through the struggle, I love you guys, you know what I'm saying? I definitely feel your pain. And for the faggot ass CEOs, you know what I'm saying, they think they're doing something slick by trying to, by doing the bullshit that they do. One day, your day will come, man. One day. You understand what I'm saying? Because remember, you can't do or commit many crimes. You can't commit so many crimes and not have something come back at you. Karma's a bitch, motherfuckers. Remember that. Anyway, yo, yeah, I'm tired. Anyway, yo, guys, take care. I love you guys in state prisons. You know what it is, bro. Danny Cañona. This is another episode of Prison Dirt. I'll see you next Saturday. One, guys.